All right, guys. We are going to do the last lesson out of this chapter, and it's called Divide Decimals by the Powers of 10. This is lesson 14. You will need pages 461 to 466, I believe, right? Yeah, 6, sorry. 466. And put your name on it right here, as always. And put your staple on it right there, as we have above it. I'll give you guys a few minutes. You can pause for that. Okay, so the essential question that we always go through is, how is multiplying and dividing decimals similar to multiplying and dividing whole numbers? All right, so that's pretty simple. You can divide decimals by powers of 10, such as 10, 100, and 1,000. Powers of 10 can be written with exponents. Remember, this would be the power of 10. This is the power of 100. And this is the power of 1,000. Because remember, there's 3 zeros here total. There's 2 zeros there total. 2 zeros, get it? 1 0. There's 3 zeros. If you remember, that's the powers of 10 that we're talking about. That's where we get that. All right, so let's dive into this. Laura needs to make 10 payments to pay for her new motorized scooter. How much will each payment be if the scooter costs $219.50? Well, first of all, it doesn't seem like a very reasonable cost, but whatever. So, you remember when we multiplied by 10, if you guys remember that. If we did, like, say, 219.5 times 10, and we looked at how many zeros there were, and we moved it to the right? And that would have given us 2,195. Okay, that was with multiplying. Now we're dividing, so we're going to go the other direction, and you're going to look at how many zeros you have. I mean, this is essentially all you have to do, and it's a fairly easy thing to do. So you look at your total here. You have $219.50 divided by 10. Well, how many zeros are there? There's 1 0. Okay. Now, they show you here how to do this the long way to show you that it does equal. You know, if you put 10 into 21, you get 2, you get 20, subtract it, get 1. 10 goes into 19 one time. That's 10, 9, 5. This is bringing that down. Bringing down your 5. 10 goes into 95 9 times. That's 90. Subtract it, you get a 5. Bring down your 0, you get a 50. 10 goes into 55 times. So that's how they got that answer there, which is right here. But since it's a power of 10, all you got to do is move the decimal point, the amount of zeros that you have, to the left. That's it. So as you can see right here, there's 1 0. So we take this and we're going to move it over one space, which gives us 21.95, which is the exact same thing we had there. So each payment will be $21.95. Pretty simple, right? I think so. All right, turn the page, flip that one behind. Okay, the back side. In the past 10 to the power of 2 years, scientists measured the movement of the continents to be 190.5 centimeters. If the continents moved the same amount each year, how much did the continents move in 1 year? Okay, so they're talking about, here's the total that it moved, and it moved in this right here. So you're taking that and you're dividing it by this. Well, if you look at this, this tells you how many zeros there should be. And hopefully you see that there's 2. There should be 2 zeros. So all that means is you're going to take 190.5, or 5 tenths, and you're going to move it to this place value. There's 2, so you're going to move it 1, 2. So your answer is going to be 1 and 905 thousandths, because all you're doing is you're moving it the amount of spaces to the left of how many zeros there are. And see right here, there we have the answer right there, which matches our answer right there. So this is 1.905. The continents moved 1.095 centimeters in 1 year. Okay, that's, pretty simple if you ask me. Down here on the bottom, there's 1 0. Move it here. Decimal goes there now, 0.72. You don't need to put the 0 there if you don't want to. You can if you want. It says there's 2 zeros, so we're going to move it 1, 2, so that's 0.215. Easy. It says there's 3 zeros, so 1, 2. We got to annex a 0. There's a little loopy loop right here. We got to put a 0 in there. If the decimal goes there, so it's decimal 0.192. Simple. So I'll annex that. Again, we'll have others that will show you that. Talk math. Use the number of zeros in the number 10 to explain why that 4.5 divided by 10 is that. Well, hopefully you could say to yourself, well, it says use the number of zeros in the number 10. Well, there's 1 0, so you're going to move it to the left one time, right, which gives you right there. So I'd say 1 0 means moving it one time to the left. Exclamation mark. That's it. Let's look at the independent practice because this is so easy. I understand a lot of you are going to finish this up probably fairly quickly. 2 zeros. So we're going to move it over. We're going to write it down here, 5.62. We're going to move it over 1, 2. Decimal goes right there. There's nothing in this loop. We put a 0 there. So 0, 5, 6, 2. Or that's 562 10,000s right there. 2 zeros. 1, 2. Well, the decimal goes right there. 187. Is it getting harder than that? Next one. 3 zeros. So write it down here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Put a decimal there. We have 2 empty spaces, so we're going to put those zeros in places of those. That's the hardest part that's going to be for you guys is right there is adding those extra zeros in. Okay, now on this one, there are no zeros, are there? There's none at all. So we're dividing it. So that's like taking this and you're dividing it amongst one person. Do we move the decimal any? No, we don't because there's no zeros in this divisor right there. So the answer stays the same. Doesn't change any. This one, there's 2 zeros. So we're going to go write this down. We're going to say 1, 2, put the decimal there, put zeros in place of this. So we have 0, 0, 0, 1, 2. Pretty easy. This one, it says right there, there's 1 0. So we're going to move this over one space. It goes right there. We have 246. See? Just moving the decimals. That's all we're doing. 2 zeros. Well, I'd say 1, 2. Put the decimal right there. We have to put a 0 in place. So 0.0872. 2 zeros. So we're going to move this over 1, 2. Decimal goes right there. So decimal 986 or 986 thousandths. And then down here at the bottom, is there a 0? No. So it stays. It's kind of like multiplying by 1. When you divide by 1, you're still dividing that up with one person. So they're all going to still get $5.71. And then this one right here, we start out at 437, and then we have 3 zeros. Now, some of you say there's not a decimal. Technically, there is. It's right there, right? Because that would be the answer, right? So you're going to move this over 3 zeros. So you can say 1, 2, 3. So the answer is decimal 437. And you don't need to add that 0 because that wasn't there to begin with. Okay. On the back, the word problems. Herbert bought red beans to make chili to sell at a fundraiser. The total price of the red beans was $13.90. How much did it cost for each can? Well, the can's over here. Okay, they're 10. Total price. So he purchased 10 of those. So you're dividing that by 10. So there's 1 0. We're going to move this over to right there. So our answer is going to be $1.39 per can because it said how much for each can. And we got that right there. Sarah was trying to decide what kind of cat food to buy at the store. Smiley Cat cost $7.90 for 10 pounds. Per Plus cost 85 cents per pound. Which brand is a better buy? So this is the cost of that. We don't know the cost of Smiley Cat yet. So we got to go down here and say, well, this is 10 pounds. We need to decide how much per pound. So $7.90 divided by 10 equals, there's 1 0 here. It means we're going to take this and we're going to move it to the left one space. So it looks to me like you get 79 cents right here. So obviously, which one's the better buy? That's the one I want to spend the less money on. So it's going to be Smiley Cat. Write that in. Smiley Cat cost is the better buy. All right. And then the next one, in Alaska, scientists are studying the melting of glaciers. They found that in the past 10 years, the glaciers receded that much. If the glaciers receded at the same rate each year, how much did they recede in 1 year? So basically, you're taking this divided by 10, which equals, there's 1 0. We're going to move this over one place value right there, which gives us 5.905 or 5 and 905 thousandths feet. So it's basically almost 6 feet a year. So that's not a lot of movement, but still it's enough. I guess what you could say is we don't normally do hot problems, but I was just looking at this, glancing at it, so make sure you answer this one as well. Circle the expression that does not belong with the other three. Explain your reasoning. Well, this has a decimal, this has a decimal, that has a decimal, this one doesn't, so there isn't a decimal. Easy, right? So I didn't cross that one there out. We won't mess with that. So you guys' homework again. I wouldn't do it this way here. I would do it this way right here, and you'll be done a lot quicker, and it's just as effective. But again, you got to remember, how many zeros are there in this divisor right here? If there are no zeros, then you don't move it, right? We have a couple of those problems I can see right here. All right, in the back side, you have some word problems for this 5 through 7 right here. You're going to use this table. Okay, on all three of these right here, you're going to use that table. So make sure you're using that. This one, tell what number you must divide 180 by to get 1.8. Well, think about how many times did you have to move the decimal? All right, how many times did you have to move the decimal to get that? So think about that one. This should be fairly easy. When you guys are finished, make sure you have your name on it. That's the key thing. Make sure you have all these pages stapled together with this page on front, homework on back, and then turn it into the math box. And thank you guys for watching and trying today and paying attention.